Good morning, Pekinwood College. Another week has passed. I hope some of you were able to take me up on my challenge and bring a bit more positivity into your households by going for a walk. I hope that some of the parents were able to be a little bit silly with their children and bring a bit more laughter into their households. I think that with school starting up shortly, for those children who are returning to school, some parents are seeing a very dim light at the end of the tunnel. Although the world that we're going to return to, I think as a whole and specifically in schools, is going to be vastly different to what we used to. And I believe that there are a lot of people who are quite excited to see what the new normal will be for us. In a previous Snapchat, I spoke briefly on keeping our children informed and speaking to them about what COVID-19 means, how it would impact their little lives, and how and what it would just mean for you guys as a family. And I want to encourage you to continue those conversations with your children, especially as they are phased back into school. Things like wearing masks, washing hands, all of that stuff that we've spoken about previously to our children. I think we need to just continue that conversation to ensure that our children have a good understanding of what is going to roll out before them. And I think that this is true for younger children and older children alike. So even our high school parents, I think it's important that we have this conversation about what they might be confronted with when they get back into school. And I think specifically for younger children and older children for that matter, we need to touch a lot on what physical contact and what the social situation is going to be. There's a lot of stuff that is still uncertain, and I think that as schools get back into their routine and get back into the swing of things, I think they will guide us a lot on what will be allowed and how the school day will proceed. But as we get that information, it's imperative that we share that with our children so that they can just wrap their minds around what that is going to mean for them and what they will be allowed to do and not allowed to do. For those of you who have children who are returning to school, we need to understand that letting them out into that we are basically sending them out into a world that we have very recently told them is very dangerous to be in. So we need to have an understanding that for a lot of children, this is going to be quite an anxiety-provoking situation for them. They might feel slightly confused. How can we send them out into this big bad world that we've just told them that they may not go into? And it might be quite stressful for a lot of children. So it's important that we remember this and we are sensitive to it when we are dealing with our children, because when children do feel a level of anxiety and stress, you often see it in their behaviors. So we might find some of our children will say, but I don't want to go to school. We might find a few tummy aches, headaches, regression in behavior, that kind of thing might start happening. And I think that if we nurture our children and love our children through this, they will be okay. When you are faced with situations like this, if a child feels heard and understood, it's easier for them to work through it. So I think we just need to be sensitive to the fact that we are all going through a particularly stressful, confusing, anxiety-provoking time. And I think that we need to offer our support to our children as best as we possibly can. For those of you whose children are not returning to school, I think it's quite a busy time for a lot of us, because I think obviously with certain businesses opening, a lot of us will be returning to work, or our work will hopefully pick up a little bit. And so we might be getting a little bit busier than what we had expected. And so now to start juggling this online learning for those of you with the children still at home and trying to get more work done is going to be particularly challenging. I want to say to you that I think we need to focus on quality rather than quantity. So for younger children, if you could sit the night before, if you are helping them with their online learning, and just go through what it is they are supposed to do the next day, it just makes for easier teaching, if I could put it that way. And those you could possibly get at 20 minutes of quality teaching done, as opposed to sitting for an hour and fumbling over the content of what the teacher was trying to get across. So with your online learning, aim for quality and not quantity. The same thing for your work. I think that you need to set aside that time in your routine, and not feel guilty about it at all. Go and sit down and make it a productive time that you are sitting down to do your work, as well as your quality time with your family. Rather do 20 minutes of real good quality time with your family around the dinner table or building a puzzle. Undivided attention, cell phones away. 20 minutes of that is far better than 3 hours of divided attention, of answering emails. I'm coming back now. I need to quickly make a phone call. Let's do the puzzle. You do 10 pieces while I quickly make this phone call. So, in the coming weeks, as things start to pick up and get busier, I want to encourage you to make, as in every area that you possibly can, make it more quality than quantity. So just in short, let's get our children ready for what they're about to be faced with in the big wide world. Be aware of the emotions that they are that are surrounding this entire thing, and just be aware of the fact that you might see changes in their behavior, and offer that nurturing side of yourself so that they at least feel comfort from you, and work towards quality and not just quantity in all areas at home, in your online learning, in your work, and in your family time. I hope that helps for this week. Thank you.